This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everyone, it's Alex the Greek here, research analyst at Revere Asset Management. Today is Wednesday, June 30th. It is 10 after 4 Eastern or 1:10 my time here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Today I have an action-packed stock I want to go over and how I traded the stock for a 440% gain on this option trade. I'd like to review that. So stick around. You don't want to miss this one. And also, I do have one bonus stock that I'd like to review. And in addition to that, I will go over last week's bonus stock and what I did respectively after the following days after that video. You can go back on our YouTube channel at Revere Asset and make sure you like, share, and subscribe and watch that video to see what I did from last week's trade. I'll go over that in a minute. But before we go on, let's review the indexes real quick. S&P 500, the QQs, or the NASDAQ 100. Mid caps and Russell relatively flat today. Nice digestion after a nice 2-week rally. The market was very strong, so probably cooling off a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised to see things pull back. Nothing crazy. Let's let these moving averages catch up. But the Dow did show the strength today, up over 0.5%. On the right here is our trend gauge. You can see we measure the 21 EMA, the 50-day simple moving average for medium term and long term moving average, the 200-day simple, to follow the to measure the indexes and where they are and how their health is. And right now we're in a bullish uptrend. In addition to that, the market leaders are also in a bullish uptrend. Before we move on, let's go over our contact information. And you can reach us at dan@revereasset.com, Tim Hunter, myself, Alex, or Don at revereasset.com, or call us at 855-REAL-WEALTH or 855-732-5932. And again, this is educational. This is not advice. If you want advice, do call us or call Dan, and we can go over what you can do to maximize your future portfolio and your gains. All right, enough of that. Let's go over the charts. So the S&P 500 right here, you can see we're a little bit extended, about 2% above the 50-day there, only 1% above the 21 EMA, but nice tight action. Really just a good sign of a bull market. The NASDAQ, actually, let's go over the QQQs, NASDAQ 100. That's what we watch. Heavily tech oriented with Microsoft, et cetera. Those big cap stocks are in here. This was also up to flat today, excuse me, but that's okay. It's a close tight, nice tight range, resting. We also have a 3-day weekend coming up. On Monday, the markets are closed on July 5th. So just a heads up. Let's go over the Russell 2000, the mid caps, excuse me, the small caps right here. Same thing, pulling back actually to the 21 EMA. That looks pretty good. That's a nice little handle there on the daily. So maybe that moves higher in coming days. We'll see. So, okay, let's go over that trade. The stock that I made a 440% options trade on was Intellia Therapeutics. I may be pronouncing that wrong. It doesn't really matter. It matters what I know about the company and what the chart says. So if you haven't heard, CRISPR, this technology basically is gene editing. And what they're finding is that they're able to mimic what bacteria does to DNA in the body. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a biomedical engineer, but you can go on their website and find out more. Maybe you'll be able to understand it better than me. I bet you some of the viewers here are smarter than I am, so you probably should go look for yourself. Just you can go right here to this IntelliaTX.com right here on the left. You can click on that site, or just pause the video real quick and type that into your search engine and look up the company. Anyways, so they had news that came out that had positive results for one of their therapies on their trials, had a really great feedback, and their success rate, I think, was around 90%. So the stock gapped up that day right here. You see it was on the 28th, okay, so this was Monday, on massive volume, over a 1,195%. So I didn't buy it that day. I was watching. What had happened is, let's go to the 5-minute here. See, excuse me, I gotta back up. Let's go to the 30-minute. So you see this gap up here? This is on June 28th, Monday. I didn't touch it, but I was watching. What I wanted to see was, can it regain the highs off that gap up? So just because the stock gaps up doesn't mean you missed. There could be an opportunity for you to get in. So yesterday, Tuesday, which was right around here on the 29th, I was watching the high of that day, 144.40. And guess what? At the end of the day, it went to 144.40. So in my beta test portfolio, I bought stock and I bought call options. So I bought the July 150s. So I was basically betting that I thought the stock was going to be above 150 by July. I think it's, sorry, 1 second. July 16th was the exact date for the expiration. If you have more questions about options, you can email me or call me. I would love to go over that with you guys. If you have any questions or it's confusing to you, but let's move on. So it's more about the trade on what I was watching. So that it hit that high, right? Broke out on Tuesday. So I bought the calls and I bought the stock. So today the thing went absolutely nuts. It gaps up. I think it was, let's look at the daily. I'll be able to give you a better read here. So it was around, I think it was on 155 was the open. Okay. And then it just screamed higher through the day. Let's go back to the 5-minute chart to show you today's action. And it was just tracking up all day. And when it hit 100% gains on my calls, what I do, one of my rules is I immediately sell half. I don't care if it goes higher or lower from there. I sold half my calls at 100% gain. But I left the rest of the position on to see what could happen. Now, in my experience, usually options, if they're rocketing that high or that fast, they can go 200, 300, 400% up. Well, lucky for me, when it got above 190, I was like, you know what? I'm going to book this gain. I closed some of these calls at 440%. So I bought the contracts at 1150. I sold them at 51 a contract. Now, this isn't an everyday thing. This is a once a year type event. But I just wanted to show you guys how I treated it, a massive gap up. So if you guys ever see a gap up like this with extremely big volume, going into all-time highs on a groundbreaking new product, or it doesn't matter if it's a biotech or Nike comes out with a new shoe that makes you fly or run faster, whatever it is, okay? Doesn't matter. What matters is that volume gap up, okay, and the price action. That's what you could do. So again, the first day, watch it. And then the next day, if it breaks out above that high, then buy it. Because guess what? Probably go higher. And look what happened. It exploded higher. So I did take down those options. I do still have the stock position, which right now it came down the rest of the day. So I'm glad I got rid of all the calls. But I mean, my 144.40 cost, which is right here. Okay, you see this right here? That's my cost. I got it right here. I'm still up about 13%. So I'm going to hold that stock for now and ride it out a little bit. I'm able to do that also because I did sell those calls, so kind of finances the position. So that's how I handled that trade. And I thought you guys would find that pretty exciting. And maybe you could use that tool of the gap up high for your next trade. Moving on, what's the bonus stock? The bonus stock I have for you is Celsius. Now, I'm sure you guys know what this is. It's a non-alcoholic energy drink. Tastes great, has many flavors. I'm seeing them pop up around stores around, at least here in the Valley in Arizona. They have, the reason why I like the stock and the company is the fundamentals are just outstanding. 2022 estimates 143%. The sales growth right here last quarter up 78%. We got a stage 3 base here at 70.66. I want you to write that number down, 70.66. So it's past that. I'm already in. This gap down was not because something was wrong with the company. They did a secondary offering at 62.50. I actually bought there. I believe in this company, and also technically that red line there, it held like a champ. That's the 50-day moving average. So I'm up about 15% on the position. But for you, if you missed it, that's okay. I'm not saying, dude, I wouldn't buy it here. Wait for a pullback. No stock goes straight up. They're going to have an opportunity to get in this. So what I'm thinking is use that 70.66 pivot as a potential entry for yourself. And what's nice too is this 21 EMA, this green line here, is catching up to that pivot. So if those meet, okay, and that price action, let's say, goes sideways, and that 21 EMA catches up, maybe use that as a feeler trade, which when I say feeler, throw maybe a 3% position on. Don't go crazy, don't buy 10, 20% off the bat. Try a small position, and if it gives you good feedback and starts to work, then you could add later. For your stop, right here is that I would use 65.92 as your stop from that 70.66. You have to know where you're going to sell when you get in. Just like last week, I went over snow with you guys. Guess what? It didn't work out. That's okay. I told you guys where I was getting in, and I said if it broke that 21 EMA and closed below it, I'd sell. I sold. Guess what? I lost 3%. No big deal. Isn't end of the world. I'm not perfect, but the thing I am is consistent. And I'm going to be genuine with you when I say I'm only right about 6 to 7. Excuse me, I'm only right 3 out of 10 times. I'm usually wrong 6 to 7 times. Excuse me, 6 to 7 out of 10 times. Okay, so I'm only right about 30 to 40% of my trades. Now you're like, how are you going to make money? Well, I cut my losses small. I have very small losses, so 3 to 5% losses, let's say. Usually even less than that. Sometimes 3%. Okay, on the smaller side. But my gains, if I make a trade and it works, I feed into that stock like this Celsius, and that's up 15%. So I can take a 2% hit a few times and be up 15% on another trade and keep adding, have more weight in that stock. That's how the portfolio, your equity curve, will slowly go up over time. I hope that helps. If you have any questions or anything this is confusing to you, please call or email us. And I would love to go over some of that option stuff with you on that trade that I showed you on NTLA. I also want to just advise you guys, this isn't advice. This is just educational. So if something happens where you get in and you end up losing, you got to take responsibility and understand that you have to set stops when you get in, and you also have to take profits at the right time. So just measure your risk appropriately, and over time, if you're consistent, your equity curve will go up. Just trust your system and follow your rules. That's pretty much it. Hope you guys have a great day. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Have a good one.